The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is May 19th, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 842. And today, Crispr Baby USA. Signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's today is a tongue twister. We're going to start with the tongue twister. It's not an emergent phenomenon.
Great.
Although it kind of is, maybe. But it is what was going to be the title of this episode until our better judgment took over. He shills in seashells.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the seashell? Is it a tiny little man in a seashell?
No, it's a message.
Oh, it's a message.
It's a coded message.
I see.
Are you not aware of the message that was sent to the world?
You've activated somebody's MK Ultra programming.
Yes. According to CNBC, Trump says Comey called for assassination of the president with 8647 Instagram post.
Ah, yes.
We just turned the entire world into numerology experts, by the way. This is great. Welcome to the party.
So we're going to cover a few stories here before we thank any producers. And if nothing else, is going to be not only setting the tone for the show, not only setting the tone for the week, but we have transitioned into some sort of full-fledged, internet come alive sort of cyber horror thriller where there's no separation between the fringes of the internet and the real world. And this is a great example of that, Gonz. When did this happen? Tell me more.
Yeah, it was over the weekend. Here the article says, President Donald Trump said Friday that former FBI Director James Comey, James Comey back in the news, was, quote, calling for the assassination of the president, end quote, in a since-deleted social media post that featured the numbers 8647. The numbers were quickly read by people in Trump's orbit as Comey calling for people to 86, or get rid of, the 47th president of the United States, Trump. Yeah,
people in his
CNBC
orbit
doing
thought that.
CNBC doing a good old breakdown of the numbers.
Yeah,
quote.
I cannot believe, and I don't know. Maybe we'll get into. Maybe this is what this show is called to do. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's pretty incredible how over the weekend every single pundit, podcast, and show dug deep into the long storied history of the number 86 and what does it really mean. It was like the most important thing in the world for about 36 hours was, what exactly does 86 mean? Yeah.
Trump's in there. He's stating, quote, he knew exactly what he meant, basically calling out Comey for wanting an assassination, and they quote some other people here. But I did look, and I saw your post on X, Basil.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that part in a second.
Stuff.
We'll get into that in a second. But I don't know if we need to go deep into it, but just to give a flavor, in case somebody was going to be sad that they are going to miss out on the deep dive into the number 86 and what it means. Was it a mob boss thing to say, to bring someone 8 miles out and 6 feet under? Does it refer to the size of a grave when a grave digger is, making a hole that is 8 feet tall and 6 feet down? Does it refer to an ice cream parlor in the 30s that would send its customers out on 86th Street where the cops came? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. There was it's obvious that really, in a sense, everybody's kind of right here. If you've worked in the restaurant industry, 86ing something means you're out of it. Take it off the menu. Of course, we've all seen The Godfather or various mob movies where 86 takes on that role. And it was really an incredible moment to watch the whole world come together to try to figure out what these numbers mean. Now,
including
the left,
Chris Cillizza, our friend.
yes, wrote one thing I wanted to say on the left, and this is the interesting part because I just want to make a point. The left was very quick to point out, for instance, that some people on the right had used 86 to refer to other things. 8646 had been used by various pundits. Matt Gaetz used the phrase, I 86'd him, when he got Kevin McCarthy kicked out as Speaker of the House. But James Comey, the former director of the FBI, who is supposed to be, folks, a nonpartisan, non-political law enforcement agency.
That's funny. That's funny to hear.
I know, but
After
it's different for an FBI director who, of course, would have intimate familiarity with the numbers, meaning in, dark web circles or whatever. Also supposed to be nonpartisan. Talk about 86ing a 47 is a totally different thing than, like, I don't know. Well, I guess Dan Bongino's a bad example now because now he's in the FBI. But let's say, who's another person? Tucker Carlson talking about 86ing something from Congress. It's a much different situation. And that was the thing that spooked me the most, was not that somebody said 8647 and had a wonderful walk in the morning and took some seashells and spelled out some numbers and tried to pass it off as if they just stumbled upon it. Especially since they had coincidentally stumbled upon some seashells a few months back that said vote Kamala 2024 or something like that. It's like, okay, dude, sure. But the weirdest part about it, Gons, the weirdest part about it was that James Comey, former head of the FBI and head prosecutor in the Southern District of New York back in 2001, posted the numbers. 8647, exactly 8,647 days since 9/11/2001. It was unbelievable.
No
it was
way.
I had to do it myself. It was unbelievable myself. It was too much. I go, there's no way. And I use multiple date calculators. I get the same answer every time. And, made a little post about it, just saying it was pretty weird. And then as they should, and I commend these people for this, people were like, no, that's wrong. Look, I did the math here myself. Look, I don't know where you got your math, Basil. I did this math, and look, it does. And I say, excuse me, just check it again. Use a calculator. And it is precisely correct. If that's not, that is like there's no silverware in, the Trump assassin's house level of spooky. That's like, his cell phone was pinging with FBI cell phones like 80 times or something before June 13th or whenever it was. That's like some next level spookiness.
Right. And I think the perspective after the weekend as well, Trump's reaction to a lot of this is also very interesting because he's starting to really lean into some of the QAnon type of stuff.
I think
the Hillary Clinton target, Obama is bringing up again, and that kind of thing. So
I think
you're
right.
Running back some old stuff.
We're going to cover a few stories here in quick succession, and I think it's good we started with this one because to me, I think the next 3 or 4 stories that we cover are directly related to James Comey posting 8647 on the 8,647th day after 9/11.
Right. And by the way, so that fact about the 9/11, I looked on multiple mainstream outlets that wrote or published an article about this topic over the weekend. Not a single one, not Yahoo, BBC, The Hill, CNBC, The Guardian, Times of India, the Economic Times, People.com.
Times of India didn't cover it.
Times of India didn't even mention it. This idea that, the fact that it was 8,647 days since 9/11. So clearly they don't even want to mention it, which is
usually
saying something.
You made a pretty good point, which is, when you told me this before the show, I go, that makes sense. But it's like, no, usually they would say, and conspiracy theorists have latched on, and the wild far-right fringe domestic terrorists, they say that there's no evidence to support that James Comey purposely tweeted the numbers 8647, exactly 8,647 days after 9/11, which he happened to be the head prosecutor of the Southern District of New York and the lead investigator of the 9/11 attacks. That's what these crazy conspiracy theorists get at. You're right. They just don't even mention it because it's too much.
Obvious.
It's too on point. Like there's nothing to say about it.
I want to see a Snopes article that's like a conclusion, maybe middle of the road, and they'll be like, yeah, it actually is 8,647 days since 9/11, but it doesn't mean Comey has anything to do with 9/11. I mean, come on, guys.
We could write it for him. We could write it for him. Say,
write it for him.
While it is true that James Comey, the head of the director and the head prosecutor of Southern District of New York on 9/11, 2001, did tweet or post on Instagram 8647, exactly 8,647 days before 9/11, there is no evidence to support that he did it on purpose. In fact, he even posted afterwards, I'm very sorry. I did not know that it was connected to violence. Okay, I would never do that. So there, Snopes debunked. See, I'm doing your job for you.
Yeah, Snopes is gonna there you go. We'll have to see. I'm gonna look for that article specifically, Snopes. So if you lift that idea from us, we will humbly take that credit. Also, we can't forget, Cillizza jumped in on this.
A shill for sure.
Man, he's ascended, Basil. He's being featured on News Nation. Daily Caller
he is killing me lately.
Putting him in the his full name in the headline. Daily Caller being the Tucker Carlson outlet, correct?
Yeah, former.
Yeah, former. Headline here: it's so dumb. Cillizza unloads on James Comey over posting alleged hit on Trump.
Get him, Chris. Get him.
Go get him. Go get him. News Nation political contributor Cillizza criticized former FBI Director James Comey on Friday for uploading a picture depicting the numbers 8647 in a now deleted Instagram post. And then they get into the whole thing here. Cillizza was guest hosting on Rising. This show he's on, Rising. Said that
which is exactly where he belongs. Rising was previously hosted by Crystal Ball and Sagar. I forget his last name. Which
was it Crystal and Sagar was the one? They were the
exactly.
Ones
yeah. So Crystal and Sagar were on the Hill, or what is it called, Rising, and then they moved to Breaking Points, and now it's just completely fallen apart. Breaking Points is a total disaster.
Really?
But yeah, this is part of the pipeline. This is part of the kind of mainstream indie pipeline. So this is exactly where he belongs.
Okay, well let's get a little flavor.
I think both things are true. This is colossally stupid by Jim Comey. Okay, like you don't need to do this. Okay, number one. But number two, like, I know what the word 86 means. Like, I don't use it a lot, or the number's 86. Like, I don't use it a lot. I'm not like, hey, let's 86 this segment or whatever. But, like, Kristi Noem and Tulsi Gabbard saying that this means that James Comey wants to kill Donald Trump. Like, I thought, like, I mean, I guess, like, get rid of him in a broad sense. But, like, it feels to me like for me, these two things are true. Idiotic by Comey, overreaction. Am I wrong?
No, I actually tended to agree, because I think for most people, the popular conception of 86 is in the restaurant context, where a dish is no longer available to be ordered. You 86 off the menu. But then I did some digging, and it turns out that term does actually come from like old mob slang.
I was wondering where it came from.
Where they talk about getting rid of a rat or an informant or someone who is threatening the mob.
I'm Italian too. I should know that.
Yeah.
You should know this, Chris.
You should know it, Chris.
You should know this,
Talk
Chris.
about your meatballs.
Lots of meatballs, delicious.
Chris has really been kind of pushing his luck with me lately. He is the knight in shining armor defending the media as hard as he possibly can. He's, again, you can take the man out of the mainstream, but you can't take the mainstream out of the man. Every single post, maybe multiple times a day, I'm getting a post from him about, oh, the mainstream media was lied to about Biden. They lied to us. They told us that he was sharp as a tack, and we believed them, because you're not actual reporters or journalists. And so all you do is just tell them, tell the people exactly what the establishment wants you to tell them. Oh, I can't believe we were lied to. This is so unfair. So like trying to defend not even himself, but just like the idea of the media, like not doing their job. It's just post after post after post. And it's really driving me nuts, Chris. You got to get on something else, buddy. You got to start digging into 8647 or whatever, just something else, please.
I would like to see Chris dig into the Q files. That'd be great. Like real detailed deep dive, to the point where he starts believing it. He starts believing it. Slowly turn him into a Q.
Oh, yeah. That's the danger for Chris, of course, is he doesn't know how, and he actually doesn't want to kind of step outside the mainstream bubble, because that's where the money is. And Chris, get that money, baby. Get that money, Chris. Now we're going to get more into the Biden continuing to Biden saga, which very similar to COVID. There was a moment, and this moment is sort of ongoing still, where the world learns that every single solitary fact that was once deemed a conspiracy theory by the establishment and got people's YouTube channels suspended and banned upwards of going on a half a dozen times now. What actually was the truth turned out to be the truth. And now we're going through that with Biden. And so, it's an opportunity where the mainstream media, of course, Jake Tapper is out there still trying to sell his book about how he was lied to and the mainstream is innocent and trying to re-get their credibility. I do not know why Chris Cillizza needs to try to get back Jake Tapper's credibility. He wants to be in the club. Now, speaking of which, after this 8647, this seemed to trigger a cascading series of events that, much like COVID, much like Biden, is now bringing the weird and wonderful things
front and center.
The weird and wonderful being brought front and center. That's exactly right, Guns.
Yeah. This is Epstein related here.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
So the current FBI director, Patel, and Dan Bongino were on Fox News, and there was a very interesting moment here.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work.
Whoa.
It's hard work. Hard work.
Kash Patel and Dan Bongino is really the big one here.
He looks very uncomfortable saying
He
all
looks
of this.
extremely uncomfortable. He's got a lot of color in his face. Now, he's kind of a tan guy, but he's looking a little pink in this. And when he says he killed himself, like he doesn't want to say it or something. And yeah, people are having a hard time coming to terms. Not, again, just so we're clear, I don't know if I believe these two. I don't know. We shouldn't know, and we'll never know. But something is going on where it is advantageous or strategic, for whatever reason, for Kash Patel and Dan Bongino coming out and making this very deliberate, very straightforward statement. I mean, it's kind of weird to watch.
Is this more of the same? Is this the thing where, you put in people into an institution that has lost credibility, and you think, we got the right guys in there, they'll set it straight.
So,
and then sure enough, once again,
Exactly.
For whatever reason, they start to they crumble under the pressure.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but it is particularly hard hitting because Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are like, I mean, that's what got them into the FBI in the first place, was promising the truth behind these things. And of course, both of them have talked about Epstein not killing themselves for years, over and over and over. And so this is a sort of a really heavy moment for them to come out and do this. Kash Patel recently had been getting, I would say not necessarily undeserved criticism by his own supporters, because for the longest time he said he had all these big plans for the FBI. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, the transparency, the Doge initiative type of stuff. I will say, I believe it was just last week, Kash Patel did start making the moves and the announcements that he is officially going to be shutting down the giant FBI headquarters building in Washington, D.C., which was one of the main, platforms. He didn't run on something, but that was one of his main sort of promises when it came to getting put in this position. And, we got to remember, it's so hard these days because things move so quickly that we've kind of updated our standards for how quickly we expect results from politicians and other government leaders. I mean, Trump coming out and changing the world in like 90 days really put a lot of pressure on guys like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to do what they say and do it now. Because previously, before this administration, if a guy got one thing done in 4 years, it was considered a victorious, career move.
Yeah.
But the pressure was on, and, he at least has started the process of shutting down the FBI building. But coming out with this pretty straightforward announcement, Epstein did kill himself. Who knows?
The promises like that, too, about a new building is advantageous for the FBI in general, because they can say, well, we need some funding for some new operations or new building or new secret facility or whatever. That they're not just like, oh, they're dismantling the headquarters here, so I guess the whole thing has changed now. No,
Yeah.
They just moved it somewhere else. They got a new spot.
All while this is happening, all while the Diddy court stuff is going on, and things are moving, things are coming to light. And along the same lines as the Epstein announcement, we did have Trump posting a video on Truth Social about a little like mini documentary about all the Clinton body count stuff, just throwing it right out there. Now, again, he just had James Comey, a classic sort of Clinton, at least in the Clinton camp, post 8647, exactly 8,647 days after 9/11. And so he posted this little video. I don't know if you want to play it or not, but
it's playing right now, just visual wise.
It goes through it. It goes through each one. It's got the news clips it goes through about a half a dozen or about 8 of the various very suspicious deaths around the Clinton career there. Which
did you see?
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, did you see Elon Musk's dad on some kind of podcast saying that the body count for the Clintons is much higher than 100, and that he'd go to court over it?
Right. I did see that. Yeah. So this is another thing that's coming just kind of front and center in an unexpected way. I would say it's not quite unexpected to be posted by Donald Trump. It's a little different with him in office. It's a little different with him after the 8647. It's a little different in the context of the official FBI Epstein stance. But it did come up in a White House press briefing where Caroline Leavitt was given the opportunity to respond. So we can play this little clip here.
Yeah. To set up the clip, Daily Beast had the headline, Trump posts deranged Obama meme and QAnon inspired Truth Social spree. So he kind of did it over the weekend. That's why I was saying in the context of the 8647, it's very interesting. But here's Caroline Leavitt.
Thank you. And my only other question for you is, so over the weekend, President Trump posted Truth Social, a video highlighting what most people call the Clinton body count, which is the strange number of suicides that seem to happen in Clinton circles. I have a headline here from the Washington Post that said, Trump peddles false conspiracy theories tying the Clintons to several deaths. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, this wasn't in Trump's video, but this is from the Arkansas Times, and it's the death of Mark Middleton, who was a former Clinton White House aide, who was found dead on a Clinton Foundation property. And I'll just quote from the Arkansas Times. Middleton apparently shot himself in the chest with a shotgun and also hung himself from a tree with an extension cord. So I have no idea how somebody commits suicide that way, but if the Washington Post is here, maybe you can enlighten us as to how that was actually a suicide. So anyways, that's just a lead into my question about the most famous Clinton-related suicide, which is that of Jeffrey Epstein. There's still a lot of questions around that case. You've released phase 1 of the Epstein files. What was missing from that is any connection to his ties to intelligence agencies, and that's really the whole story, that not just trafficking young girls, but doing it on behalf of intelligence agencies, and even potentially as part of a blackmail ring with potential ties to the Israeli government. So for phase 2, when can we expect it? Will it have information pertaining to those aspects of the Epstein case?
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she has made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case as well.
Okay.
So this guy, I believe, I don't know who this guy is, just by
Zero
his
hedge.
face. That's okay. Yeah. So he is sitting in the new media seat in the White House press briefing room, which of course is one of the big innovations that the Trump administration has made towards transparency. And it's pretty funny because over and over and over, these new media guys who get to sit in the seat, we did put in our throw our hat in the ring. We have yet to be reached out to by the White House.
Numbers keep going down afterwards. I don't know what the thing is. Yeah, go ahead.
I know. And so, but it's funny, this new media seat pretty reliably has somebody sitting there who not only asks a question, but takes the opportunity to inject a full conspiracy theory. Again, I don't use that term derogatorily, but inject a whole lot of information that would previously be relegated to dark corners of the internet, straight into the White House live national briefing, which is very fun to watch. And yeah, oftentimes Carolyn Levitt is left to say, wow, really good question. Thank you so much for asking it. Okay, next.
Yeah, she didn't have much to say. It's a 1:38 clip. Zero Hedge went on for 1:26, and Caroline Levitt spent 10 seconds on it in response.
Yeah, the nervousness and strangeness of the Kash Patel and Bongino, Epstein did kill himself announcement. I mean, the weird tension, the sort of weird pressure building up behind their faces, the insistence that the story is what it is. The ties between Epstein, Clinton, the FBI, all these things are... It would be silly to expect that there is not some huge, power struggle or tightrope walking thing going on. Something's definitely going on behind the scenes. I don't know exactly what it is.
This could be part of the deals being made. Hey, we'll give you this, but the Epstein suicide thing, we got to keep that under wraps or whatever the thing is. So you just never know. It's such a crazy world.
Again, the timing between James Comey, the timing between Trump posting his Clinton stuff, and the timing of this quote unquote, official believe the story from Patel and Bongino, it just reads as weird little chess moves or something, putting pressure on someone, some weird backroom thing. So I don't know. Right. I'm sure the only reason we lay this out is usually when we start seeing some sort of pattern like this, something exhausting and surprising ends up happening the week after. So I have a feeling that these questions will answer themselves in the next maybe 14 days.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see. Lay out the carpet. Go ahead, blob of goo.
What? What?
Wow, you're speechless. This is incredible.
Lay out the carpet, blob of goo.
Yes.
Are you talking to, what are you talking? Just tell me more. I want to hear more.
No, all the things we just laid out is like laying out the red carpet for the blob of goo, which is, you know, the black goo that takes over the whole world, to just roll out, you know? We're setting the stage.
You know, these artists, folks, they often talk in metaphor, and it is up to the Holy Spirit to sort of decode it in each and every one of us. Okay, well, let's take a second. We got, more huge things going on. We're going to get to that in one second. I want to thank everybody who joined the Canary Cry text message alert program. Do it now. Do it now. Take out your phone, open up your text messages, and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Just go ahead and do it, because, look, you're going to want to get a text from me before we start every show. You'll never miss a show. If we get banned or disappear, you'll be hooked right in. This is sort of the way it must be these days, of course. You cannot, at least you should not, be relying on platforms and algorithms to give you the information, because they're not going to give you information. It doesn't play into some grand strategy for the establishment. So it's a great way to connect with us directly. I send out all those text messages. We don't take your name. We don't take any information, so don't worry about that. But the most fun part about it is you can text us back. You can text us back at that number, baby, and that's fun. I read all of them. I love all of them, and sometimes I'll read some on the show. Just let's see here. Shout out to 678. This is TDL Prez. Says, please keep us in your prayers with Lolly Baby Lil Baby Bella at 3 weeks and 3 days. 33. Oh,
hey.
Haha. Yeah, makes sense why today I today have ill vibes in the household. What? Please lift us up. All is well. Tension and stress and dealing with it as well as the biz is overwhelming. Love you both. God bless, TDL Press. Thank you very much, TDL Press. God bless you and your little baby Bella. We'll certainly be praying for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually glad I don't know exactly what he was just talking about, but it sounds like he kind of has a queasy feeling at the start of this week. I also am having like a little bit of that feeling on this Monday, Gons, where some sort of unexplained, I don't even know if I would have the right words to articulate it, but just some uneasy feeling this week. I don't like it. And so if you're out there feeling that too, just know you're not alone.
The carpet in the goo starts to make more sense every second.
The red carpet has been rolled out by the goo, or for the goo, or something.
For the goo.
Shout out to Incognito 907. Says, really enjoyed the Clubhouse discussion last week, especially the caller, Psalm 40, who brought up Dr. Michael Heiser's Naked Bible take on Leviathan, Jonah's whale, primordial chaos, and the waters of the deep. Well, thank you very much, Incognito 907. Go check out Canary Cry Clubhouse, folks. We go live every Thursday. We have a great time. It's a very good way to sort of end the week. Clear out the gunk from all the crazy news. 507. Oh, this is hey Bibu Zuzu, Dame of Harmony, Hot Dish, and Gichigumi here to say hi and have a great show. Thank you very much for that. Shagan 423 says, water park, can't watch today. Okay, you're allowed to not catch the live show if you're going to a water park. That is one example. Monica texted and says, I'm late. Can I get some prayers, please? I hurt my back last week and fainted and hit my head. Ooh. Goodness gracious. You want to call the producers there, Guns?
Sure.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Great way to join spiritually in fellowship with other Canarians. Also, spiritually produce the show. Very important to do. And there has been a real uptick in prayer requests lately. A real uptick in prayer requests, a real downtick in producership. So hopefully, everybody's praying for each other here. This is really what's so special about the Canarium versus, other I don't know, maybe less familially focused communities online as we pray for each other. So there we go. If you're listening, you're a producer. Pray. Let's say a little prayer right now. Put it on your list. We're gonna both be praying for TDL Prez and little baby Boo Boo. Wait, little baby Zuzu. Wait. Bella, little baby Bella.
Oh my
and
God.
on top of that, jeez, everybody's names I have to memorize. And then Monica, who hurt her back last week and fainted and hit her head. And I'm remembering right now, strangely enough, that I did a little faint yesterday too. Something's
did.
going on, man. Yeah, I did a little, sometimes I'm a tall guy. You stand up and the blood kind of stays sitting down when you stand up. And, you get a little woozy. I had a pretty gnarly one of those yesterday where if I didn't have the wherewithal to actually set myself down on the ground as it was happening, I could have done a pretty big bonk. So...
Wow. Okay.
Anybody else fainting? Anybody else feeling weird and fainting all the time? Because something's going on, folks.
This is like pre-COVID in China. It's just here now.
Something. So there you go.
Great.
Thank you to everybody who sent texts. There's more of you. Hopefully I get to read more later on in the show. But if you haven't done it yet, text the word Canary to 877-740-3226 and get on the list, Gons.
Yes.
And while we're talking about lists, let's thank some executive producers.
Yes, let's do it.
Executive producers.
We're on the value for value model, folks. The value for value index is declining across the board. This means something is going on in the world. But if you don't know, now you know. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, governments, non-government organizations, or the Vatican. We are entirely sustained with the time, the talent, and the treasure of people just like you, individuals who realize that if you're taking corporate money to advertise on your show, no matter what that show was, there is a hint of corporate incentives, not only present in the show, but also present in your ability to do the show. And so we issued that long ago, and we've lasted this long relying strictly on the goodness of God and the participation of our beautiful, talented producers. And who's that? That's you. Is really anybody who says, actually, I get value from the show. I would like it if the show keeps going. And then figuring out whatever that means to you as far as value, and then coming around and putting value back into the show. It's an ecosystem, not a business. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but that's how I feel right now. Woo, feeling woozy. So people have kept this show alive for this long, going on, 13 years now. So won't you join us with your time, your talent, or your treasure? The executive producers are people who came in and supported the show for $100 or more for any individual episode, so we thank them here at the top. And so should you. Ready, Gons?
Ready.
Okay, we got the classics today. Of course, we got the one, the only, Sir Jamie, not the Lannister, coming in.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Sir Jamie. Appreciate it.
Another good reason for people to go check out last week's Canary Cry Clubhouse is Sir Jamie called in. It was great to talk to Sir Jamie for a little bit. And of course, we have executive producer Sir LX Protocol V2, Baron of the Berean Protocol.
Where'd you find this?
Comes in for $100 and 33 cents. He's on a 392 episode streak and a 46 episode executive producer streak. Thank you guys very much for that. And there's still time to produce this episode, folks. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more and make sure that we are not held captive by the wars, rumors of wars, the worries of this world, or our shackles from one of the principalities and powers of this material realm that seems to have maybe a little bit too much control over not just the expanse of all of us, but individually we are fighting that good battle every day, and that principality and powers mammon, of course. But yeah, head on over to Canary Cry. support.
Canary cried out support.
Alrighty.
Okie dokie. You know, Gans, before we go too far, we did have the last announcement from the Russian handler.
Oh, we
do you
did,
happen to have that laying around?
I do.
We got
Yes.
Good. Let's get the last. This is for the Canary Cry supply drop producers who have been solving the mystery to make sure that Sir Ike doesn't get put in a Siberian work camp. We have one last message.
Play.
Hello, my dear Canarians. This is your Russian handler. I am here to announce that the first person to solve the cipher and email the answer was none other than Sir Guthbrander, Viking Knight of the City on a Hill. Congratulations, Sir Guthbrander. The Canarium is forever in your debt for saving Sir Ike from involuntary work reassignment. You win the most delicious coffee from Cage Rattler and endless gratitude of your fellow Canarians. Sir Ike is safe. For now. Till next time.
Ominous.
For now. I guess.
Congratulations, Sir Guthbrander. You are wise as serpents and innocent as doves for saving our good friend Sir Ike over there. And congratulations on your new stash of coffee there from CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Awesome.
I do want to make an announcement. We are coming up on the deadline to sign up for the Canary Cry supply drop. That is at the end of this month. I think it's the 31st. If you want to get in on this next supply drop, you got to sign up in the next week or so here before the 31st, so don't wait. And if you want to get, of course, your Canary Cry supply drop sent straight to your door, it's going to include the Gons Prayer Hands hat, high quality. There's also going to be some awesome other stuff. There's a very special sort of... I don't know how to describe it. A very special project from friend of the show, Sam Swanson, very talented musician. This particular project includes some hilarious interjections by Gons and I. So that'll be sort of premiering in the Canary Cry supply drop. It'll definitely be maybe the most entertaining thing that you've heard in a while, and probably a priceless heirloom someday.
Years of work went into this, Basil.
Many
you and I
years.
Poured in years into this particular.
I poured in
Sam
maybe. We poured in maybe, or I poured in maybe about 59 minutes, but Sam has been working very, very diligently. So a lot of fun stuff in this supply drop. So go to canarycrysupply.com to sign up and learn more.
Waiting for supply drop.
All right, now is the time to talk about Joe.
Yeah, let's talk about Joe real quick.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Got hairy legs. Got the Joe. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy COVID.
Okay, so last week, about 4 or 5 days ago, Axios has this exclusive. Prosecutor's audio shows Biden's memory lapses. Amid long, uncomfortable pauses, Joe Biden struggled to recall when his son died, when he left office as vice president, what year Donald Trump was elected, and why he had classified documents he shouldn't have had. According to audio Axios obtained of his October 2023 interview with special counsel Robert Hur. Why it matters. The newly released recordings of Biden having trouble recalling such details while occasionally slurring words and muttering shed light on why his White House refused to release the recordings last year, as questions mounted about his mental acuity. The audio also appears to validate Hur's assertion, remember this, that jurors in a trial likely would have viewed Biden as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Remember when that was our president, the man, the leader of the free world, couldn't be held accountable for crimes because he was a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with poor memory? Partly based on that determination, Hurd decided not to prosecute Biden for improper possession of classified documents. See, if only Trump was, losing his mind and had dementia and everything, then maybe he would not have been prosecuted for the same exact thing. Angering Republicans because Trump was facing charges in his own classified document scandal then. Democrats and Biden's White House blasted her for his observations about Biden. They repeatedly insisted he was sharp and that her was politically motivated. But the audio from the 5+ hours of interviews indicates he and co-counsel Mayor Crickbaum,
Mark Crickbaum.
Oh, weird. Were respectful and friendly. The big picture, the audio surfaces as Democrats and the national media are grappling with the legacy of Biden's White House and campaign hiding his decline as he ran for another 4-year term at 81.
We knew it. We knew he was not all there.
We were lied to. We were lied to.
Come on, man.
I don't know if you want to play any of it or they
we
have a
can.
little clip.
I mean, there's
let's
there's
just
a
get
video.
a feel for it. Let's put it on the record here. Let's see what they say.
Really bad audio.
Penn Biden Center or the Biden or the cancer for your shot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18, that area?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying.
Died in
He's either deployed or is dying?
Yeah, in 2018.
That's a wide range.
Bo died in 2015, so
yeah,
that was. It's sad. These are sad, actually.
They're
really
super sad. I
listening
know.
to him.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing. I mean, yeah, the whole elder abuse take I think was correct. The whole thing, basically.
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on from there. I'll spoil the twist for you. He can't remember, and he doesn't even remember the question, and he just starts rambling about stuff that doesn't exist.
Do you think he doesn't remember that he was president? Like at this point right now?
Who knows? Who knows?
Hey Joe, how is it being president? Do you think he doesn't even recognize
It's.
that?
I mean,
That'd be
dude,
really
it's possible. I mean, see, if it really is dementia, like the thing
Like
with
true
dementia,
yeah.
the thing with dementia, so my grandfather. It's a whole long story, but I'll say I only knew my biological grandpa for about 12 months, and I met him. And that was great, and it was cool. And then 6 months later, he went from totally normal to absolutely gone. His mind was just absolutely gone. And anybody who's had a family member with dementia and Alzheimer's or these sort of related things, it happens really fast. It happens super, super fast.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that, the man that is Joe Biden today, it's just sort of even unrecognizable since the election. It's totally possible, So who knows? It is very sad to watch. It does, of course, ask a lot of questions of Jill Biden, asks a lot of questions about the Democrat Party, where it is now becoming quite clear that he was crazy and they were trying to run him so that Kamala could step in as vice and then step up to the presidency. Like the whole thing is just there. Now, we don't even need to rehash all of this because the world had about 4 days to relish in what everybody knew beforehand, albeit so sad, before this next news came out, equally as sad, but let's say got the heat off of the dementia thing here. And this is BBC headline: Joe Biden diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. Also very sad. Also a very, one of the more brutal kinds of cancer here. Former U.S. President Joe Biden, 82, has been diagnosed with prostate cancer that has spread to his bones, a statement from his office said on Sunday. The discovery was made on Friday after he reported urinary symptoms, which led doctors to find a small nodule on his prostate. The cancer is a more aggressive form of the disease, and Biden and his family are reviewing treatment options, the statement said. He left office in January as the oldest-serving U.S. president in history, and questions about his health dogged his first term, leading him to end his run for re-election late in his campaign. Now, in this particular phrasing from the BBC, they are giving the impression that this is brand new information, and people are questioning that pretty vociferously, as I think they should, because of course this was another thing that was sort of postulated during his, not just his campaign, but also his presidential term, showing up with things that looked like IV scars and chemo scars, and he even has a classic clip where he seemed to admit accidentally that he had cancer, and this was back in 2023.
2022.
I'm sorry, 2022. This was even before.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
Okay, so he said he had cancer in 2022.
He said he had cancer in 2022. Yeah. And that lines up with a lot of strange, scheduling things. It lines up with his inability to kind of do anything before 2 o'clock in the afternoon and anything after 4. So the narrative being placed that this is a brand new thing that they just found out on Friday is obviously bunk. If for no other reason than he was the president of the United States, and you don't wake up on a Friday with prostate cancer that has moved to your bones, okay? It takes a little bit of time for, even if he had prostate cancer, it takes a while to move to your bones. So this is obviously something that's been, at least a year. I mean, if I'm being generous, a year. They would have known about a year ago. But, according to the clips, it could have been up to 3 or 4 years.
Based on warp speed, I mean, maybe the warp speed is really speeding up. You get a pain on a Friday morning. By Friday night, you're diagnosed with prostate cancer. You just never know.
So the
science is accelerating.
This, I mentioned how Chris SHILLZILLA is driving me a little nutso. They're all driving me a little nutso lately because they just so badly want to convince us that they had no idea that anything was wrong. And, individuals like, what's this guy's name? George Clooney? Is that his name?
The actor?
Yeah, the actor. So George Clooney, famously like good buddies with Biden, he actually came out recently, once this kind of the Biden losing his mind thing started picking up steam. He says, oh yeah, I knew in 2022 I went to an event and I met Biden, and we had met 100 times before, and he didn't remember who I was, and that's when I knew something was wrong. Admitted to knowing that Biden had lost it back in 2022, and he was one of the prime examples of he's sharp as a tack, blah, 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 blah. So, the media and Democrat operatives, they've been caught, lying, basically. I don't know how else to put it. Once again, been caught lying, and an endless campaign to try to retake credibility by saying that they were just lied to. But switching the topic from his memory lapse 4 days later to an aggressive prostate cancer that, we just found out on Friday, does a pretty good job of, making Biden a sympathetic character and a well-being old man who has a poor memory.
I
So the
wonder.
sort of same reflection of what they worried about in the jury courtroom situation is kind of they're hoping is going to play out in the court of public opinion.
Right. I wonder if Joe's one of these guys for at least the left or the Democrats, where they can't get rid of him. They've been trying to get rid of him for a while,
yeah.
but he just like won't go away. So they're like,
Oh,
all right, well, I guess we'll throw him in the. Yeah, because I'm sure they strategically probably had some other things in mind if Biden wasn't there for the last 4 years. Clearly, they had that plan for Kamala to get in. So maybe they didn't even want him there from the get go. But that's all they.
I mean, we may have Joe to thank for the destruction of the entire Democratic Party.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the things that the moves that they had to make, the lies they had to tell, just the whole thing in the past 4 years because of Biden, I think is quite possibly it could be responsible for the whole destruction of the party. It's certainly
He will be
responsible
remembered.
for where they are now, for sure.
Yeah,
But
he did say a lot of things.
you know, Guns, things are happening. Medical breakthroughs are happening all the time. Cures are being found. AI is doubling our lifespan.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Joe's old and he's got all these issues, but he won't go away. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe
It's
that's
not
the
too
whole.
late.
It's the whole thing. Is that a lot of people, celebrities, politicians, they're gonna live for a long time.
I mean, he
because-
obviously was getting something new just to stay upright during his presidency, and I think that's a good time to check in with CRISPR.
CRISPR. Cas9.
Now
so
this is
big.
this is a particularly, I don't know, hard-hitting moment for us on this show and any of our OG listeners, our longtime Canarians, because we were some of the weirdos who were digging up this weird little mad science experiment in early 2010s about CRISPR, which is the gene editing technology, which has become so popular lately. We are also one of the first to break down Dr. He Jinghui, the Chinese mad scientist who illegally CRISPR edited 2 babies in China, which he inevitably spent some jail time for. More updates on him in a second. But here we go, a big moment in the American healthcare industry coming from Wired. A baby received a custom CRISPR treatment in record time. Scientists were able to create a bespoke treatment for KJ Muldoon's rare genetic disorder within 6 months. It could be a blueprint for potentially life-saving gene editing CRISPR therapies. Now, this is a big deal because CRISPR babies has long been a topic of conversation for people who are paying attention, and it used to be something that just happened in dark underground labs in China by mad scientists. But here we are, the first U.S. baby to get a CRISPR treatment, and as the headline sort of excites about, in record time. Late August,
Before you jump in, just real quickly, the Dr. He thing, for anybody who may not be familiar with it, is in China in 2018. He did a gene editing experiment with CRISPR, and a couple of twin girls were born, Lulu and Nana. And according to the latest reports in 2023, they are living normal lives. And they wish to have privacy, which is kind of an interesting thing coming from a couple of Chinese citizens.
Yeah.
But that's what that story is. And he got in trouble for it because he went beyond the ethics boards or whatever they have there, and he went to prison over gene editing a couple of human babies. But they are seemingly
without oversight. And
without oversight, right?
Yeah.
But they do seem to be healthy, so maybe it worked out for the American companies and American institutions like the National Institute of Health. But go ahead.
Yeah. It's very interesting because, of course, Hay, in his own defense, it's like, look, if I have a chance to revolutionize humanity forever and save all the lives, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to go to jail for it. And, kind of became this sort of dark science folk hero. He did only end up spending a couple years in jail, but we'll get an update on him. And specifically these babies. And here's the weird part, is these babies that he CRISPR'd were given a gene to resist catching HIV.
Right.
So specifically was not like a cure, it wasn't for something that they had. They didn't have some sort of, I believe, if I remember correctly, I mean, it's been many years since we've been following this guy, but it was a genetic mutation to help them be resistant to HIV. There was a point there. I do kind of question the I guess press releases saying, "Oh, they're great, just don't bother them. They want their privacy. They're fine."
Yeah.
Because they did go missing for a few years.
Right.
There's a few years there where nobody could find the babies. But allegedly, if we are to believe whoever in China gave us this information, they're doing fine. Okay, just a few details about this. So this is a pretty big deal.
Yes.
Late August, KJ Muldoon was born with a potentially fatal genetic disorder. Just 6 months later, he received a CRISPR treatment designed just for him. And now the whole point of this, remember, with these CRISPR treatments is that they can be genetically targeted. So it's not like a product that sits on a shelf. It's they create it and adjust it specifically for your
Custom
genes.
algos for you, just
That's
for
right.
you.
Custom gene medicine.
Well, does this mean that they can custom design some stuff that can harm you too? I don't know. It seems to be
Weird. Oh, what a negative way to think, Gons. They would never do that. Nobody would ever do that. That isn't the entire reason that governments fund this kind of research. Muldoon has a rare disorder known as CPSI deficiency, which causes a dangerous amount of ammonia to build up in the blood. About half of babies born with it will die early in life. Current treatment options, a highly restrictive diet and liver transplant, aren't ideal. But a team at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Penn Medicine was able to bypass the standard years-long drug development timeline and use CRISPR to create a personalized medicine for KJ in a matter of months. And this is one of the key parts of this story. This is the messaging. This is the goal of this entire thing is, hey, we had to skip some processes. We had to skip the line in testing. We kind of had to speed it up because it's a baby and the baby needed it. And look, it worked out great. We're looking at a counter narrative to warp speed is what this is.
Right. Well, yeah, and the fact that during COVID, it was this whole idea of we don't have time, we have to save people. It's a microcosm of everything they rolled out. They know it works. This crisis, emergency use authorization type of, mentality, mindset to get things through, to get things to happen quickly.
Right.
So yeah, interesting pattern.
So, they tell the whole story about this baby. You learn a lot about what this disease is. They go through
KJ.
Yeah, KJ. Oh, KJ.
Does this stand for King James? Is it little King James Muldoon? I guess Kyle, I guess.
They never said.
Kyle.
I'm going to skip down here. It says, when KJ was born, the researchers used genome sequencing to determine the specific... This is about 15 paragraphs down, by the way, guys.
Okay, I'm like skipping around.
No, it's way down. When KJ was born, the researchers used genome sequencing to determine the specific genetic mutation driving his disease. It turned out KJ had actually inherited 2 different mutations from the CPSI gene, one from each parent.
Oh.
Thanks, parents. The team decided to target the mutation that had been reported before in an unrelated patient known to have severe CPSI deficiency. The others hadn't been seen before. KJ's team turned to CRISPR, the Nobel Prize-winning technology that can precisely edit DNA. So far, only one CRISPR-based medicine is commercially available, and it goes into that one. The allure of CRISPR is its potential to directly address the underlying genetic cause of a disease rather than simply treat symptoms.
Oh, what is an
nice?
Entire medical industry based on? Is it based on figuring out the underlying causes, or is it to just simply treat symptoms to keep people coming back? I don't know.
The approved CRISPR therapy, Casgevy, they're always so bad. They're always so bad. Is given as one-time treatment. Now listen to this. The medicine Casgevy is given as a one-time treatment. But the Philadelphia-led team specifically designed KJ's therapy to be redosable out of safety concerns, starting with a low dose to ensure there were no adverse effects.
Okay.
Terry Horgan, a 27-year-old with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, passed away in 2022 shortly after receiving the first known custom CRISPR treatment. His death was likely due to a reaction to the virus used to deliver the CRISPR molecules. So they don't even.
Yeah, they don't. This is direct. They're saying CRISPR was responsible.
It killed
for
a guy. It killed the last
killed
guy who they tried this with.
Yeah.
For KJ's treatment, researchers used a version of CRISPR called base editing that can change one letter in a DNA sequence to another. They packaged the base editing component in tiny bubbles called lipid nanoparticles, which were then delivered via an IV infusion. So we know lipid nanoparticles. We all became very educated on lipid nanoparticles a few years ago. Before it could be given to KJ, though, it was tested for safety in mice and monkeys. Okay. Since the drug was unapproved, the team needed permission from the Food and Drug Administration to use experimental treatment in an individual patient. The researchers applied to the FDA on February 14th and received approval on February 21st. They gave KJ his first dose on February 25th.
Wow.
So
right under our noses, Basil. Just
9 days.
People are celebrating Valentine's Day, and then the FDA is getting love letters from
the first CRISPR baby.
CRISPR, yeah, the CRISPR people.
Yeah, 9 days from application to first dose.
Injection.
They are, I think, purposefully a little bit vague on the testing that took place.
Yeah,
they're very vague. We don't know if the testing happened after they applied. We don't know if this testing has been going on for years. The way it's kind of worded, if I'm just going to take it, it's, and try to navigate through the ambiguity, I kind of am sitting here being like, okay, did they test for like 3 days? Did they test on mice for like 3 days and then give it to the kid? Or maybe 9 days. I don't know.
And this is where, our knowledge as not CRISPR technicians or something, or like CRISPR, I don't know, scientists, may be an issue, because they talk about how this is they're able to, specifically tailor the treatment to each individual, specifically this baby. But what is the thing that is not approved? Is it?
Well, right. That's the point. Is, okay, maybe they had much like mRNA, maybe they had this delivery system, but,
did they have to get his specific version approved for him to use, and the only KJ can use it now or something? Or is this
and how
universal?
do you test it? Once you gear it to his genome or whatever,
dude,
how do you test that on mice? How do you test that on monkeys?
Yeah,
that's a big problem with the recurring, other mRNA vaccinations, is just because it worked in August, now you have an entirely new product in February and you're not testing it because you're just, again, the literature literally says, like, we just assume it's safe because it was safe last time. Right. I don't know. It's the problem with the whole thing. But, this was in February, which this was during the Trump administration. Now, I would have to go back and look at the calendar to see if this was actually under RFK's control yet. Was this before or after budget cuts? Was this kind of were they trying to do it so quickly also to kind of slip it in before RFK got involved? There's some very interesting timing things here.
Yeah. Well, just one more thing about the FDA. If this is like the FDA needing to approve a drug that is tailored specifically, not the mechanism, but like literally just for this kid, that opens up a whole new can of worms where every treatment has to be approved by the FDA individually. And that's a pathway of bureaucracy that they probably are salivating over.
That is
They're
interesting.
like, wow, we can literally, instead of just every drug, it's each individual that uses that drug or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah. And now, it was stated earlier in the article that, they had to move so quickly because it was a baby and he really only had about 6 months, something like that. Like, it was a very special case where he was young, he didn't have long to go, so they had to rush, and, the testing was small, but, the whole thing.
Well, plus, I mean, the alternative was death, but treatments like a liver replacement. I'm sure that's not anything that's fun to do for a newborn. So I can imagine ethics, and when you talk about ethics and how these things can move so quickly, despite all other, I don't know, sentiment of ethics, is the fact that the alternative is much more, I don't know, risky, harmful, and it's fatal anyway. So might as well see if this would work. And I guess this is where a lot of this medical technology and science is going to be explored as we move forward here. A lot of the healing that might take place is on the front. The frontier will be with the sick people,
Yeah.
Gotta heal all the sick people. That's how we're going to get this technology mainstream. So,
yep.
Interesting to watch.
Do I sound like a robot to you?
Sometimes a little bit, but not
now
too.
you're
It hasn't
back.
been too
better.
bad.
You were a pretty robot-y there for a second. Okay, so we're
okay.
back. And it goes on and on and on. There's, I had lots of highlights here, but for those who are been with us for a long time, it's a lot of repeat information. Let me just hit the last three, paragraphs here. Ernov says KJ's case demonstrates that bespoke genetic treatment can be made quickly and used successfully to treat critically ill patients. Quote, this could have failed in so many ways, he says. Quote, nothing was a given. Every day he worried that KJ would pass away before they could finish making the therapy.
Oh, gee.
Which is kind of a weird way to put that, but okay. The team did not say exactly how much the therapy cost to produce, but Musunuru says it was comparable to the cost of a liver transplant, around $800,000. The companies involved in manufacturing, Aldevron, Danaher, and Integrated DNA Technologies, made in-kind contributions. Okay. Quote, though it may take a lot of work to get there, my hope is that someday no rare disease patients will die prematurely from misspellings in their genes because we'll be able to correct them, Musunuru says.
Oh man,
the misspellings.
There's just some misspellings in your genetic code.
We're just
Don't
spell
worry.
checking. And that's really
genetic spell check. That's what this is.
That's what it is. It's we do spell check. We're used to spell check. Students don't even know how to spell anymore because it's all spell check. Spell check has taken away a lot of the human experience in recent
human
years.
mind. Who would have thought?
So this isn't genetic modification. This isn't genetic tampering. No, it's just spell check. And in a way, this is the perfect way. Like, it had to happen this way.
Perfect vector,
We knew that gene editing was gonna, of course, make its way into mainstream medicine. It was gonna eventually will become extremely popular and not a big deal at all. But it takes little moments in the media like this. It takes stories like this to be able to break through those sort of plateaus of public acceptance. And the ongoing question, when it comes to transhumanism, gene editing, stuff like this, are we repairing or curing, or are we upgrading and ascending? Of course, it must be done to save a baby. It's not going to work unless we're saving babies. And God bless, I hope this baby continues to live a long, healthy life. But we have crossed the Rubicon now and have our first USA CRISPR baby using spell check.
Yeah, who'd have thought that when the first time you sat down at a word processing unit, that the spell check function would be the catalyst for the return of the days of Noah. That's really the other thing too, is
exactly.
the only time in history that we can really relate to this type of stuff where we're messing around with the building blocks of life appears to be the days of Noah, where something was going on with genetic tampering or intermingling of species of some kind. That's recorded in the Bible. It's recorded in all kinds of other ancient mythologies. It's in, you know, a lot of world religions. Common story there. So when Jesus was talking about, as it were in the days of Noah, so shall it be the coming of the Son of Man, seems like he was talking about stuff like this. And, you know, you're right. It's still a human, you know, a little spell check. You're still, the essay is still the essay. A little spell check doesn't change it. But once you get AI in there, you know, rewriting entire paragraphs and stuff, at that point, it may not be the same thing as.
Well, that's the funny part. That's why that's why autocorrect is such a useful metaphor for this now, a useful, honestly, narrative piece of propaganda. Hey, it's just autocorrect. It's just spell check.
Yeah, it's autocorrect. Yeah.
It's especially powerful because who cares at all anymore about spell check anyways when AI is writing everything? We don't even need to spell anything. You know, you're just talking about the sort of the structure of symbols and meaning being used to propel, you know, technologies forward and things like this. Calling it autocorrect, like that's not even cheating anymore. It's almost a backwards, unneeded technology because right now we have AI writing everything. There's no need for, you know, the robots are writing. We don't need to spell anything. It doesn't even matter. So comparing it to spell check is like quaint. It's like cute. It's like, what is this, 2010? Autocorrect? You can't, your iPhone keeps auto-correcting to duck
All
or
right, your
something.
text messages. Yeah, that's the most annoying part. Yeah, what if you didn't mean what you were going to say? I meant to be lion, but you turned me into a loin
Well,
or something.
and isn't that the thing? I mean, that's the thing. If you
Well,
want
if
to
you
follow the spell check thing, sometimes spell check changes things to not what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, autocorrect can be horrific on sentences.
All right,
I do
so-
want to mention, before you jump in back to the
Okay.
China aspect of this, real quick, just for reference sake here and for documentation, you know, this article is from Wired.com. However, the National Institute of Health did publish an article here on May 15th, which was last Thursday. And the headline of this article, infant with rare incurable disease is first to successfully receive personalized gene therapy treatment. And it's the same, it's the same thing. It's a little more technical, but I do want to read the first sentence because it's kind of telling. It says here, a research team supported by the National Institute of Health, NIH, has developed and safely delivered a personalized gene editing therapy to treat an infant with a life-threatening incurable genetic disease. So the role of the National Institute of Health in this endeavor is very clear. You know, the Wired article didn't really talk about the NIH being involved with any of this, but according to the NIH, they themselves say that they have supported the research teams that were carrying this out. So, and probably why they got that approval so quick. You got the NIH fueling your proposition or whatever. You might get through much quicker. So it seems like they got whatever they got from China. They're rolling out here, Basil. They're rolling it out. And what kind of signs are we seeing of that? Some weird exchange going on here.
So none of this would be possible. I mean, the CRISPR technology would not be where it is, especially being used in babies, if it were not for a little fella named He Jinhui. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. That's how we've always pronounced it because it's Chinese. He Jinhui. He was the scientist. He went to jail. It was a whole thing. And I'm going through. I'm watching. You know, I'm reading about the baby. I'm looking into this, doing the research, checking things out, and then on my X timeline comes scrolling this gal I've never seen before, never heard of, named Kathy Tai. I'm just going to assume this. I don't know if it's T or Tai, but there we go. Kathy Tai. And I just kind of start reading, and I'm look at this picture, and I'm like, wait, I know that guy. And Kathy Tai starts out with, on this day last month, I married the most controversial scientist in the world. Now we may never see each other again. While I'm concerned about my marriage, I am more concerned about what this means for humanity and the future of science.
Wait,
And
is
do
she
we-
not? Is she not going to see the doctor that she married, or like us, the audience of X?
Well,
we may
we're
never see
gonna
each other
find out, Gons. We're gonna
okay.
find out. Here's a beautiful
Okay.
wedding picture with her, and that's the man. I'll recognize him anywhere. He
Yeah.
Jingquei.
He broke the seal.
He did it. And so she starts telling this story.
Okay.
I packed up my things, including my dog, to move to LA, from LA to Beijing, and begin a life with at Jingquei He. This morning, during my layover in Manila, I found out that China immigration had been instructed by police to deny my entry. The government has also restricted him from traveling outside of China. This dude has been restricted for years, but okay. Like many of you here, I believe there is a double standard and ethical hypocrisy when it comes to germline gene editing.
Whoa,
but
what?
the issue, she jumps straight to...
I thought we were talking about immigration or something.
Yeah, I know.
Some
It's
kind of
sort
immigration issue.
It's a hidden, it's this weird hidden science thing hidden
Layers,
inside of an
yeah.
immigration issue
Science
here.
drama, yeah.
Like many of you here, I believe there's a double standard and ethical hypocrisy when it comes to germline gene editing. But the issue is deeper. Science is now intertwined with politics, international relations, media, and defense.
Oh, wow. So Kathy catching up to the rest of us.
She's
that
bringing
we're
it.
living under a
Kathy's
scientific
bringing it.
dictatorship. All right, let's go. Okay.
This is Dr. Hayes' wife is just dropping it here on X. Science is dangerous because it is uncontrollable, says the wife of the man who illegally CRISPR'd babies and went to jail for it. It shifts power. We saw this with nuclear weapons. Biology will be more powerful than that. But those trained in scientific system are too brainwashed and financially paralyzed to act with agency and think for themselves.
Wow.
Kathy,
She's getting herself banned from entering China, I think. I think she's getting cold feet with the whole idea of moving in with the guy.
She
And,
is.
She needed an out.
It's so obvious that she is also just like very in love with his work, you know?
Yeah.
Which does beg the question. Okay, Kathy, she's in LA, somehow married a Chinese man from LA. Let's see what else is going on here. I was born in China, she says, grew up in Canada, and spent most of my adult life in the US. I am a spy. I am a spy from
I was
China.
born a spy.
I was born to parents who were also Chinese spies. I am a
trained in
Chinese
Canada
spy.
and I was stationed in LA. Go ahead.
I have stolen national secrets from LA, and I'm trying
COVID happened
to
because of
go
my
back.
work.
I'm trying to go
my
rogue
research.
with my mad scientist husband with this genetic material I stole. Now, I was born in China, grew up in Canada, and spent most of my adult life in the US. I entered the biotech field at the youngest age of anyone I know. I mean, this is like a fairy tale, guys.
How old was she?
The youngest Chinese gal to get into biotech field ends up in love and married to Xi Jinping.
She published her first research paper at age 16.
I want to write this book. Hopefully nobody else already has her business.
Oh, look at this. Peter Thiel gave her $100,000.
Yes.
In 2015. Look at she's okay. All right.
She is a biotech celebrity in her own right.
She's a superstar.
It seems a spy. Perhaps that's what makes me naive and immune to the brainwashing that happens to everyone in this industry. So I'm now on edge. Like, oh, she's taking kind of like a right wing kind of anti big pharma stance. This is obviously written and designed to appeal to the skeptic, appeal to the anti-establishment, appeal to the you get where she's coming from, right? This is for us,
right?
She continues,
I recognize her.
When I met He Jinghui, I realized he was different. He was clearly a heretic. When I spoke to him in 2023 after he had served his prison sentence, he said he wanted to double down on germline gene editing.
We reported on that.
Yes, we did. Despite being canceled countless times, he stood his ground. And this is also the interesting thing, is nothing she's saying here is anything we haven't already reported on. Which
Right.
makes
It's almost
me,
like she's telling the whole story.
she's
Interesting.
she's
Bringing
telling the
it to
same
forefront.
story that we have been telling. Like, I'm waiting for like you're married to the guy. Give me something like I don't know. I knew this technology would change the world, but it's bigger than He Jinghui and China. Ooh,
Yeah, it
dangerous
is.
words.
It's NIH American CRISPR babies now. Let's go.
It should be a borderless technology that helps all of humanity reduce suffering. Perhaps it's my understanding of this vision that made him fall in love, and he named his new company after me, Kathy Medicine.
Somebody,
this is romance.
This is where all of Hollywood went. Hollywood, they just discarded Hollywood. They burned it down. All the writers they went to the scientific dictatorship reality show. And they're like, hey, Kathy, we got you. We got a whole thing for you.
I don't have it all figured out yet, but this is a beautiful op. I mean, they really brought in all the creatives on this one, making it a love story.
Talk about K-pop in America. This is, I guess, China pop or I don't know, CRISPR pop.
Now she goes on.
Yeah.
You can stop the person, but you can't stop the movement.
What
the veil of
movement are you talking
biotech gene editing babies movement. The veil of biotech hypocrisy has been lifted, with people like Matt Ridley questioning the moral difference between COVID and the gene-edited twins, and He Jinghui garnering millions of views and support for his tweet. When I was younger, I used to think of hypothetical scenarios that would test my morals and ask myself, quote, would I donate to charity if no one knew about it, end quote, quote. Would I stand up for innocent people being hurt even if it was against the law, end quote. No amount of Kant, Plato, and Aristotle prepares you for this moment. Over the next few days, my own morals will be put to the test with the whole world watching. I have every intention to answer the same way my younger self would.
What's going to happen? First of all,
this summer.
Prominent name. Yeah, I was going to say prominent name missing from the list of deep philosophers there. The Son of God may be a good one to throw in there if you want to build up some
this
ethics or morals.
Science.
Okay.
Philosophy.
Okay. What is going on? Is she also gonna be CRISPR'd, or is she like the way she's talking? It makes it sound like she's also entering into some like CRISPR situation where she gets to upgrade herself or something. Something.
It feels very Edward Snowden, is what it feels like. Yeah, we don't know. I tried to do a little search to see if there was any news, if He had gotten arrested again or if he was being held or something. There's no news that I can find, at least as of the start of the show, about He Jinghui or anything. It was just this little, masterpiece of a tweet thread by Kathy Tai. Her bio is unicorn researcher. I am definitely hitting follow on you, Kathy Tai. There we go. I'll keep everybody updated. But this He Jinghui guy is, we had joked before, imagining a future where transhumanism took over, everybody's genes were edited, and this was the new standard for humanity. Even outside of like American transhumanism, which is much more sort of technology focused, but 50 years, 100 years down the line, that they would have statues of this guy of the guy, the rebel, the folk hero that edited babies and saved the human, the species. And we have here the unfolding. This was only posted 23 hours ago. This unfolding of like some Hollywood movie trailer, perfectly scripted young heroine who married him for his mind and his work and his, future of humanity. And she was going to be with him, and she's held up in Manila. That's the Philippines. She can't go to her love and continue the work that's revolutionizing. And within this, she's talking about the borderlessness of gene editing technology, and it belongs to everybody. I mean, there is something serious moving right now, and I can't find anything on it except for this gal who's putting it out there on Twitter. She does have 2.4 million views on this thread, which is incredible.
People are paying attention.
Whoa, bro. Look at the comments. 333 comments, retweets, 999 retweets. Yours went to 1K. Mine's at 999. This is very interesting. I did not know this many people. I mean, I guess I'm still stuck in 2015, 2016.
Yeah, people have caught up, man.
People have caught
up.
People have caught up.
People caught up. People know. But, I do wonder if, first of all, if she was a Chinese spy, there could be something where the current administration figured it out. And so there was some kind of exchange that happened, because obviously this Crispr news coming out with the baby the same weekend as the wife of the guy who had gotten in trouble for it in China would speak up and become so public, all seems very coordinated.
Yeah.
But also, if you just think about the conditions required for CRISPR for Hay to be seen as a hero all over the world, not just China, maybe the West is provided a narrative that because he was imprisoned in China, that that he obviously broke the seal. He needs to be freed, right? He's you're right, like an Edward Snowden type of situation, like he blew the whistle on this technology or the benefits of this technology. Maybe the narrative will be China's been holding positive science back from the world, and Hay was the guy who broke the seal, and now we have CRISPR babies in America, and we have all these successful cases. There needs to be time to develop that, but also given especially some kind of environmental disaster, which obviously, the climate change people, that's the whole campaign, right? The environment's going to go to garbage because we're not treating the earth right, and we're going to have some kind of issue, radiation, pollution, chemical, whatever, some kind of issue that causes all of us to have to quarantine or have to maybe get a treatment from CRISPR because the environment has changed. If we want to survive, we must take this gene edit. Otherwise, goodbye. Could be.
And it's quite obvious. Like you said during the baby segment, is yes, you can cure diseases with this. You can target genomes, but also you can target victims. And when we're talking, we're right here in this moment where, Trump put out the COVID was made in China website. We've got the Ukraine biolab problems going on. We've also got, there's also the counter narrative right now of COVID from, what was it, Fort Detrick. The counter narrative is gaining steam, where COVID was actually made in American lab, and something else had it either delivered or whatever over there into Wuhan. We've got all these narratives, the war of narratives. The fifth generation warfare is in full swing. And so that's what we're watching here. And so this gal is obviously a soldier in whatever fifth generation narrative is going on. If it is, the fact she's born in China, raised in Canada, and lives in LA does immediately give me the Chinese spy thing, but who knows? Maybe she was not a very good Chinese spy and she got turned. The message she's giving out here is China shouldn't be keeping it for themselves. The message she's putting out is this is borderless, and we need to get my husband out of there, and we need to share this all with the world. And ding dang, China is not sharing it, and they're keeping it. So it could be sort of a counter operative. She's a U.S. operative of some kind. What's the word? Like blowing
Spying
on the
back.
embers.
Right,
Well,
sure.
blowing on the embers to pressure the technology out of the hands of the Chinese, especially because, look, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I get it. Other people know about Hey Now. A lot of people know about CRISPR. It's like it's a different world, right? But 2.4 million views on a post that really just says like, hey, I married Hey last month, and others and then delivers this message about like, we need to get CRISPR technology out to the people. I mean, it seems like there's a little bit of help. There's a little bit of boost going on. Because she only has, what does she have? 14,000 followers. She has the same amount of followers as you, Gons. And she makes this thread and gets 2.4 million views on it. So she's obviously getting some algorithmic help here. This is very much, I mean, Elon could be on the back end of this 5th generation warfare move here. To sort of, especially with all the tariffs and the trade war and the everything with China, we are definitely seeing much more than just a sad wife who can't see her husband.
Well, it is interesting that they're fitting CRISPR, at least her version of CRISPR, into the same mold as like crypto or whatever other kind of freedom technologies, where it's
Great
like,
point.
the institutions are holding us back
That's
from
a really good
progress,
point.
from a free, open health in this case.
You know what we might call it, Gons? Techno-populism.
Hey!
This is more
Sounds
techno-populism.
familiar.
Gons, I got to show you something just cute as a button. I'm going to link it to the note that you have, the research timeline note. If you want to open that up. This is just another post on Kathy Ty's thing here. In this post, she does tag He Juinkui. She tags her husband and says, ahem. And it's a funny meme. It says true love at the top, and it's a boy on one knee giving a kitty to the lady, because that's true love. Hey, Dr. Hey, when you're done gene editing babies without any legal approval or anybody's consent, give your wife a kitty. She wants a cute kitty.
Do we get to interview this lady? She only has 14,000 followers.
We should reach out.
Let's reach out. Are her DMs open?
I'm going to do this. I'm following her. I have opened up a DM.
Oh.
Start a new message. Okay. It looks like
DMs are open. All right,
DMs
Basil.
are open. We'll reach out.
Let's reach out. Let's see what we
I'll
can
do it. I mean, look, again, similar to the Zoltan thing. By the way, everybody, go check out our Canary Cry Radio episode with Zoltan. Not enough people are watching that one on YouTube. So please go to our channel, watch the Zoltan interview if you haven't done it yet. Zoltan was another guy we had talked about for years. And then suddenly we get to actually talk to him, which was great. I mean, Kathy, nobody has talked about your husband longer than we have, okay? Let's talk to Kathy.
Let's talk to Kathy. I want to know more about her background there.
And then Chris SHILLZILLA will have to come on the show. If we get Kathy, maybe Kathy could get us Dr. Hay. We'll talk.
That
we'll
would
talk,
be
Kathy.
that would be crazy.
I want to talk to Kathy about cats, though. I gotta talk to Kathy so we can talk about kitty cats, and then we'll get Dr. Hay on to talk about
CRISPR Cat 9. Cat 9.
Oh my gosh, we gotta CRISPR the cats. All right, there you go. That's it. Let's thank some.
Well, no, real quick, because you had this here.
Artificial intelligence.
Along the lines, because this is part of the narrative crafting here, is Popular Mechanics headline, AI will double the human lifespan by 2030. tech CEO claims. Is this the dawn of immortality?
Yeah, it is.
That's blasphemous. I mean,
yeah,
it's
we
been
don't even
the
need to
dawn
read
of
this, but I did want to.
immortality.
I did want to bring it and connect it with the gene editing thing because they're saying literally by 2030 the lifespan of humans will double. I'm like, that's like tomorrow.
You can't that doesn't math. 2030 is 4.5 years from now. How is my age going to double?
No, what? Not your age, your lifespan. I mean, I think it's nice. It's nice of them to get it done by 2030. I mean, I'll be
optimistic.
I'll be middle-aged. I will be middle-aged by then. I'll be middle-aged, and look, if I have to get stuck at middle-age, it could be worse. I wouldn't want to be stuck.
Is that
too
what it
young.
is? You get stuck. You can't reverse the aging. You just get stuck in where you are. That's the.
I mean, I'm
the
assuming
promise?
that's what would happen, but who
That's
knows?
that's the
AI
lower
is-
tiers. You pay
AI
more, you
is
get
the
the
new god.
reverse.
Yeah, it depends
Okay.
on your subscription.
Right. Okay, now we can thank some producers.
Okay, let's thank some producers. We got some people who came in since last Wednesday to produce the show. Thank you very much. Of course, we're on the value for value model, which means we can only survive if human beings like you are out there and putting your time, your talent, or your treasure back into the show to keep it alive. It's our way, it's all of our way to break away from the prison that is corporate incentives in funding independent media. And I don't know. If you don't get it by now, I'm afraid I don't know what else to say. I will say, Gons, that the value for value index, which we have yet to build the algorithm for, but we know that value for value participation tracks pretty closely to, sentiment, global sentiment of what's going on. It's been a pretty slow couple of weeks over here for us. I'm always relieved, but not happy maybe, but relieved when I go over to other, value for value shows like No Agenda and find out that they too are suffering along with the rest of us value for value folk. And they tried a strategy that I don't think we've fully engaged before, and I'm not sure we're going to, which is pure shame. Pure naming, shaming, and guilting everyone, and threatening.
Okay.
To...
Is that what we're doing now? We're going to start threatening people and
No,
shaming
I
them?
don't know if I'm ready to shame and threaten to go do something else, because I really don't want to do anything else. But what my plan is, as I continue my research for the Value for Value Index, is I'm going to check out their this week and check out their producership for this next week. And we can compare if their shaming of their producers delivers any results. And we'll compare it to us not shaming our producers and see who gets better results. I know the world would say one way would work better than the other. But, we're going to let the Holy Spirit-led scientific method rule this time around. But we do have some producers that are coming in with their treasure to support the show. This is under the executive producer amount and over $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. So we got a couple of notes. Ready, Gons?
Ready.
Starting out with thinking one, the only Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
Sir Darren, thank you very much.
It comes in with a nice round number, so we won't disclose it on the show. And if you're out there and you don't know this yet, if you support the show with a nice round number, easy peasy on the 10s or the 5s, that's you telling us not to disclose that number. If you don't mind us disclosing the number, put funky numbers on there, 33 cents, 77 cents, 1, 2, 3, 4. That just tells us you don't mind if we disclose it. But Sir Darren comes in for a nice round number, and he says, shh. For Gonz's wedding anniversary, aka for Mrs. Shimura, not for buying crypto. Lol. No crypto, Gonz.
What? Why not?
Sorry, buddy. That one's for the missus.
Okay. Well,
When's
we
your
cleared
wedding
up.
anniversary?
We cleared it. We cleared it up. We cleared it up
Okay,
in the
good.
back room there. Sir Darren and I went back and forth, and yeah, the wedding anniversary is a different month, but it is her birthday month. So
that's the one.
Yes, it all kind of works out. So
Okay,
thank you, Sir
wonderful.
Darren, and thank you for a couple pieces of art he made as well.
Beautiful.
This is like different art, not art. Well, it is for the show, but it wasn't like a producership art, although it is a
Okay.
producership. It's just the background of this, what you're seeing right now, the template.
Yes.
But thank you, Sir Darren.
Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, did he adjust it?
He adjusted a couple things for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you, Sir Darren. Next up, we got producer Julie S. is here.
Julie S., thank you.
Another round number, and she comes in saying, keep praying for the UK, please, brothers and sisters. Yeah, amen. Okay.
Absolutely.
Remember to keep praying for the UK. I haven't heard anything super recently, but I am not aware of anything getting better over there. So God bless you, UK
I got
listeners.
I got some UK-related information for you in the Nephilim update. Yeah.
Right. Next up, we got producer Joel, who comes in for 3333.
Joel, thank you very much.
Producer Joel comes in and says, hey, Basil and Gons, please call upon the producers. Okay.
All righty.
Producers, assemble!
All right. So we're praying for who? We're praying for the UK. Thank you, Julie S. And we're praying for Joel. Here it is. A week ago, Monday, my father-in-law was struck by a hemorrhagic stroke. Bro, so many strokes lately. The past 2 weeks, we have gotten like a dozen prayers for people's family members having strokes. A week ago, Monday, my father-in-law was struck by a hemorrhagic stroke. It impacted the right side of his body severely, which is also his dominant side. I ask that we all pray for recovery, mental and emotional strength, the spirit to persevere, and healing for my father-in-law. May God bring this to him divinely or with medical staff and rehabilitation care. I also pray that God give my family the strength and capability to support him and each other in this challenging time. Thank you, Father, for keeping him with us and for giving my wife and I the drive to support him cheerfully thus far. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, producers and CCNT family. And thank you very much, producer Joel, for that. And we'll certainly be praying for your father-in-law.
Yep.
Next up, I apologize. I am catching up on producer Aaron B.
Aaron B.
PayPal changed the way some notices came to us, and I missed a few of Aaron B's producerships, but he is still streaking. And, excuse me, he joined the T-Shirt Council.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
He's on a 25-episode streak. I did not bring water. Next up, we got producer The American Hobo.
The American Hobo, thank you.
Coming in for 2332 on an 11-episode streak.
Hey, there you go. Thank you.
And we got CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Cage Rattler Coffee.
CageRattlerCoffee.com, folks. Go check it out. It's your one-stop shop for value coffee.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
This is some producer-to-producer value going on here. We get it. People have a hard time producing value for value sometimes. But hey, if you're drinking coffee, you might as well get your coffee from Cage Rattler Coffee. It is extremely high quality, the best I've heard. And it comes from all over the place. Lovingly roasted by a Canarian, packaged, sent by a Canarian, all done in the United States. And of course, you got fun stuff like Nephilim Hunter Dark Roast, Emu Wrangler Medium Roast. It's really incredible what they're doing over there. And a portion of every sale comes to support the show. So go do that. You're not only supporting the show, but you're also supporting other Canarian families, which is very special as well. They're on a 27-episode streak. I got a note here. It says, hey, Basil, I have a couple things if you could let the Canarium know. I just launched a new coffee roast. Okay, we got new stuff dropping.
Wait a minute. Did you say Cage Rattler Coffee is on a 27-episode streak?
Yeah.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will.
Cage Rattler Coffee, breaking through the firmament.
Firmament buster there. Thank you, Cage Rattler Coffee. Just launched a new coffee roast. It will be the Colombian dark roast, and it is one of my favorites. I am putting 3-pound bags of it on sale for the launch. Okay, there we go. We got a sale, folks. Fire sale. 3-pound bags of the Cage Rattler Coffee Colombian dark roast will be on sale. And I will also be running a Canary Cry calendar date special on all orders, discount this week. Okay. May 18th was the anniversary of the first GMO foods being approved by the FDA.
That's right.
Wow.
That's on our calendar. That's on our Canary Cry calendar.
Was that yesterday? That was yesterday.
Yeah.
To stand against this abuse, Cage Rattler will give a 5% off all orders using the code ORGANIC. ORGANIC, organic. He has it in all caps here, so I do that. Just use organic. That's because we only sell organic beans that were raised the way God intended them to be raised and harvested. Well, amen. Love that. I love the Canary Cry calendar date special this week. To, I don't know, not celebrate, but spiritually fight against in unseen realms the May 18th anniversary of the first GMO foods being approved by the FDA. Go get your non-GMO foods, no Nephilim beans over there at CageRattlerCoffee.com. Get an extra 5% off using the code ORGANIC. Thank you so much, CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Yeah, thank you. And all the coffee drinkers, appreciate you.
Furf says, well, as a Nephilim hunter, I am indeed partial to a dark roast. Yes, that's
yes.
We've got a lot of Nephilim hunters on the team around here.
That's good.
And the dark roast, they do tend to enjoy the dark roast. I have noticed.
Yeah.
419 texted the text message alert system and says, need to make me a cup of my Cage Rattler coffee. I am a coffee snob, and this is some good stuff at a good price for a good purpose. Try it, folks. Thank you very much, 419.
Hey, thank you.
Okie dokie. We had producer Lane from 587 come in and support. Oh, we're going to do a crypto producership and a demooching to give you a little heads up, guys. Lane from 587 came in with 0.003355 Ethereum.
Ooh.
I have no idea what that is off the top of my head, but is asking for a demooching. So
is this a crypto? Crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
Thank you for the Ethereum and your demooching.
You've been
thank you very much. Congrats on the demooch, Lane from 587. Next up, we have Anonymous coming in for 1111 plus fees. Thank you very much, Anonymous.
1111. Oops, sorry. Here, I got this. Let's see. Anonymous with 1111.
11.
And I am also getting notice as we speak here that the American Hobo, producer the American Hobo, also signed up for the supply drop. So, woo!
Hey, there we go. Thank you, American Hobo.
Oh, and I'm seeing here Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, came in for 777.
Hey, Sir Morv, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you to all of our monthly producers, the ones who sign up, they leave it, forget it, they get value on a regular basis, so they give value on a regular basis. If it were not for our monthly producers, all of them, but especially the T-Shirt Council, CanaryCryT-shirtcouncil.com, and the Supply Drop, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. If it weren't for you guys, we would be totally gone. The show would just be gone. So we want to encourage everybody, especially longtime listeners. We're all making it through this together, and honestly, it's not even about, it's partially about the amount that you sign up for, and that's fine. You can sign up for whatever you want. If you want to get cool stuff in return as a free gift, you go to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. But even the fact that people take the time, even if they sign up for $1 to support every month, the long-time joke, well, it's a joke to us, but the long-time misconception to any podcaster is, oh my gosh, if every listener just gave $1, we'd never have to work again. And while that is true, it's a long, hard road to learn that you're never, ever, you're lucky if you're going to get 2% of people to support the show. But I would highly encourage, especially in a time like this, that if there is any room in the budget to put some value back into the show financially and do it on a regular basis, I would just really pray that the Lord blesses you for that, but also, makes it clear of His provision in your life. That's what He wants you to do. That's always the thing. It's always difficult making those kinds of decisions, but at least in my life, sometimes when God really wants me to do something, He not only makes it clear, but makes it possible. So God bless everybody, our monthly producers, our one-time producers, our executive producers, and we have some people who came in under the $7.77 amount that we will track in your streaks, and we'll thank you on Wednesday.
All righty. Okay.
One quick notification, just because I want to make sure that it's coming up here. We have the Houston, Texas meetup. Go to canarycrimemeetups.com. The Houston, Texas meetup is coming up on the 24th in Houston, Texas. They're going to battle axe throwing. Let's see here. Here's an email. Email this guy, davidgno33@protonmail.com. Go throw some axes. Go meet your other Houston Canarians. Have a good time. Because in the end, if we're not meeting and fellowshipping with real people in our area, then it's just a podcast. But where the prayer is that people would find each other, help each other, become a part of each other's lives. And in fact, we've got some incredible testimonies of Canarians who for years have been listening to the show or being involved or producing the show. But really, God does amazing things when Canarians meet up with each other and just kind of become a part of each other's lives. If not just friend groups, or marry them, or become church fellowship, whatever. We highly recommend at least making contact with other Canarians in your area. So Houston, Texas, canarycrimemeetups.com.
Let's do it. Okay. Are we moving on?
See you at the meetup. Yep, I'm done.
You want the
it's
jingle.
all you.
You want the actual jingle. All right, let's do
I
the
was
meetup
doing
jingle.
the jingle because you didn't do it. I was just doing an acapella,
Okay, where's my meetup jingle? Did it go away? Oh, here it is.
This is fun! See you at the meetup.
All right,
Good
I got a
jingle.
Nephilim update. What?
All right, give it to us, Gons.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
All right, there's a band called Fields of Nephilim, which it feels like low-hanging fruit, right? This band has been around for a long time. The metalheads know of this band. But there are some things that people have speculated about the band or the main mastermind behind the band named Carl McCoy. Maybe, his belief systems or, the stuff the worldview he has. But everything is confirmed now. It's all out in the open. It's the year of apocalypse. We have a loudersound.com article here, and it's titled, quote, "I have my own ways of ritual magic," spelled M-A-G-I-C-K, "but not in the typical way that most people would imagine. We're not all Victorians, are we?" That's questionable if you're, into metal. There's some Victorian-themed bands out there. The otherworldly story of goth mystics, Fields of the Nephilim. Fields of the Nephilim frontman Carl McCoy on magic, mysticism, and fake drug busts. And I'll give you a little bit. Where are my highlights? Here they are. Great. Fantastic. Do you have a thought, Basil, before we jet?
No. I am going to be listening, but I'm going to turn off my camera for a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll be right
Just
back.
make sure you're not. That's fine. That's okay. All right. It says here, there is a pattern in life. Just because you can't see the pattern, it doesn't mean there isn't one. It means you're standing too close to the subject to make it out, or you haven't studied it for long enough. The 28-year career of English Gothic rock band Fields of the Nephilim can seem strange, perhaps full of wrong turns and missed opportunities when taken at face value. To see a pattern in the chaos, one has to pay close attention. And they go into the history of the band. They formed in 1984. Excuse me, I just had to sneeze there. As formed in 1984 in Hertfordshire, incorporating elements of psychedelic rock and heavy metal into the era predominantly post-punk goth sound, drawing on Victorian art and spaghetti westerns for their striking image and delving into the occult for their philosophy. Okay, so it's been pretty kind of well known. They got songs like Moonchild and stuff like that, Psychonaut. And it profiles this guy Carl. And then it goes into some interesting things here. They talk about his career as in the band. They take it up to about 2005. And then it says this: by this time, Carl had abandoned touring in favor of one-off gigs with anonymous session players he referred to as ghost musicians. So basically, you know, he's the band. So he's just hiring guys to fill in for the other spots. He's the main mastermind behind the band. But something else was going on. Between their rebirth and a pair of sold-out Hammer-sponsored nights at London's Shepherd's Bush Empire, dubbed The Ceremonies, in late 2008, there was a year-long series of gigs held around the globe. Fans and casual observers alike could be forgiven for thinking these shows were chosen at random, but considerations like when the venue was cheapest or when certain road crews were free were furthest from Carl's mind. When they took the stage in Helsinki, Finland on December 29th, 2007, it was a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence that it was also the anniversary of the death of the Russian visionary mystic Grigory Rasputin. On March 15th, 2008, the band traveled to Poland to play Warsaw's Stodola venue. Again, no coincidence that this was the anniversary of the death of H.P. Lovecraft, the author responsible for the greatest occult fiction ever and a huge influence on Carl's lyrics. When they played in the Greek city of Athens on March 21st, it coincided with the equinox of the gods, or the new year in the Thelemic calendar, Carl's religion of choice. This pattern would be continued until the final ceremony itself, which was on July 13th, 2008, the birth of John Dee, the black magician employed by Queen Elizabeth I as astrologer and necromancer. So yes, John Dee, who I outlined in Age of Deceit 2, Alchemy and the Rise of the Beast Image, he's the one that channeled the Enochian language on behalf of the Queen. So yes, all kinds of occult stuff has been going on for centuries, folks. But John Dee being a very popular name in the Enochian language, which is what he allegedly challenged from the other side. And this sentence, I couldn't believe the sentence is in this article. Of course, there's a little bit of a different context as a music mag, but it's still kind of crazy. The rebirth of Nephilim was a colossal magical ritual traversing the globe in space and covering many years in time. It was intended to harness the power of their fans and history itself to help resurrect the group as a new entity for the 21st century. So yes, this is, again, the band has been around post-2000. They had to reinvent themselves, and this was some kind of admitted magical ritual to play these shows when they did to help resurrect the Nephilim, which is their band, right? Carl, who has always refused to talk directly about his belief in the occult and ritual magic, admits that the string of concerts were part of a bigger plan. Quote, Nephilim gigs are different to going down the Dog and Duck to get drunk and watch an AC/DC tribute band. I take a different approach to what Nephilim concerts are and what they mean. Yeah, he approaches them like giant occult rituals, like what we've been saying musicians of the occult do for at least 10 years now. There's, people have been saying that for longer. Back to the quote here. They are a ritual because they're collaborations with the audience. We become like one. When we play live, there's no longer a them and an us because our audience is quite special. All of the shows that we've done over the last few years, up to the ceremonies event at Shepherd's Bush, have been held on specific dates. I have never mentioned this to anyone before, but I've got a record of a lot of births and deaths of inspirational people. It was part of a bigger plan, end quote. Carl, who is a lot more down to earth than his austere image suggests, allows himself a little chortle when his obsessive fan base, who pour over everything he does in forensic detail, are mentioned. Quote, yeah, not even they realized, he admits. No one found out. I've never mentioned it before now. I'm surprised nobody from our community was looking at, maybe it was just so obvious, the fields of the Nephilim, that it just, behooves anybody to looking too deep into it. But here, the Fields of the Nephilim band did a year-long concert where every show was strategically placed to celebrate the death of an important occultist, and he approached it as a ritual, and nobody found out. He did it right in front of under everyone's noses. And then he goes into some stuff about, some other things. There's a couple more highlights here.
Like all good rituals.
Yes, exactly. People don't know that they're being part of a ritual or initiation ritual. It says here, when asked if he thinks the occult ritual for ending one period of the band's history and kickstarting another has worked, he pauses for a long time before saying, quote, I feel like I have been trapped in limbo for a very long time, but now it's time to move on. I feel it's time to do what I do best, which is producing new music and getting out there and performing live. It's been a long time since the band started, and I do like to go forward rather than backwards, end quote. Okay, so that means new album. So they got new EP coming out. Carl's spiritual journey through life has been a complicated and individual one. And that, as he doesn't mind telling you, is the whole point. He simply wants his fans to think for themselves. Look at that. Look at that good old occultist with a positive libertarian message. Just think for yourselves, everybody. In very loose terms, he's a follower of New Age religion / spiritual philosophy of Thelema. Hey! We don't have to speculate, Basil. It's just all in her face. A century ago...
He's straight.
Uh-huh. Oh, are we lagging?
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think I have a pretty bad lag. I'll be right back.
Okay. A century ago, notorious magician, free thinker, drug fiend, and top-flight mountaineer Aleister Crowley mentioned there, had a vision which became the basis of Thelema and its Bible, the Book of the Law. Crowley's anarchic idea was that the 20th century would see the birth of a new era of morality governed by one rule only: do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And man, if that's so, I started Face Like the Sun and Age of Deceit, all of that began looking at what the self-described, at least for Aleister Crowley, he called himself the Beast. I mean, it's pretty straightforward what these folks were saying and what they were promoting. And it's this free thinking idea. It's this idea: do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Do what you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. And it's akin to the I will statements of Satan, the 5 I wills. I will ascend above God's throne. I will take a seat on God's throne. And it's this personal hubris that exists in this Luciferian philosophy that, no, you don't need God. You don't need to rely on God. God's not in control of anything. No, it's you. You get to decide. And it sort of weaponizes free will in a sense, which has been part of this Luciferian doctrine for a long time. So that's what this guy's promoting, which is, you can say it's part of the Nephilim spirit, if you will. It says here, thankfully, he ignores us when we ask if he's the real McCoy on stage, and continues, quote, this is interesting because we've talked about this in the context of musicians as well, right? Like, hey, there's a different persona up there. Beyonce, when she's whatever her character is when she's on stage, it's like a different persona, a demon maybe that takes over. Well, McCoy has a different perspective. He says, quote, the person off the stage is the person who's trying to get on in life and be sociable. People presume that you get on stage and put on this persona. Nah, it's the other way around. The person on stage is the real me. That's where I feel more comfortable. I don't think when I'm on stage. This may be a shamanic approach to life, but it's in a natural way. It's not forced or something I have to read about or share with anyone, end quote. And it talks about Metal's fascination with Satanism is a very complex thing and should never be taken at face value or be generalized as just one thing. But for many of us, the devil exists only as a metaphor for the exertion of self-will in opposition to power structures of religion and other forms of authority that stamp down on individualism and rebellion. This is something that sounds eerily familiar to Crowley and Thelema. And there's, let's see, one more here. Oh, he adds, quote, Crowley was misunderstood, he adds. That's always a good quote to have if you're saying Crowley was misunderstood.
That's what appealing they say about the devil, too.
Yeah, exactly. Appealing to anyone reading this piece who is interested in the so-called dark arts. Quote, all people know about is the great beast, but there was more to him than that. By all means, read his writings, but you have to bring out your own understanding of it, not someone else's point of view. And that's the trap, isn't it? As for being specific about his own occult practices, Carl is as coy as ever and will only say, quote, I have my own ways of ritual magic, with a K. I have my own rituals that I perform, but not in the typical way that most people would imagine. We're not all Victorians, are we? So he doesn't wear a wizard's hat? Quote, no, I wear a pillowcase. Ha ha ha.
Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yes, there you go. So, and there's a little bit more here. It's a very long article. But I think that this is, I don't know, it's just one of those things where I always looked at this band as like, yes, this band exists. And anytime this band has any news, it hits my timeline because I'm keeping track of the keyword Nephilim and I have done so for the show for a long time. And normally I'm disappointed when I open a Fields of the Nephilim article because it's like, oh, they're on tour again. Oh, they're releasing an album. Blah, blah, blah. It's very kind of boring music type of stuff. But this one obviously caught my attention. And I guess I didn't doubt that the guy behind Fields of Nephilim was into Aleister Crowley and the occult. But here he is laying it out there and admitting to a giant ritual on his fans, or using his fans for a giant ritual, basically, for the benefit of the band, and carrying it out for at least a year. And who knows what else he's doing that he's not telling everybody about. But I don't know. Just thought it would be an interesting Nephilim update since, the key word is not too in the news cycle right now. It's you can go months without the word.
These things are happening all the time. I mean, I think it's a good reflection. It's not just this one guy. Now he's kind of built his brand around it, but we know that Aleister Crowley, Thelema, and ritual magic is a big part of, honestly, entertainment everywhere in the world. And in general, it's happening all these different rituals and things are happening all around us all the time. And we rarely are able to point them out. I think that's why, things like the Super Bowl and the Olympics and stuff are so such focal points for, exposed videos, is because I think we know these are happening all around us all the time. It's just, once we get to point at and laugh at the blatant ones, that's not the end of the sort of the message.
You didn't take it down. You didn't.
Right.
You didn't tear down that stronghold. It's identifying it, and it's probably
you identify that in hopes of identifying the other ones all around you.
Right.
We have a little bit of breaking news here before we close down the show.
Okay.
It looks like Representative Comer has identified staffers that use the auto pen to sign executive orders and pardons, but not who was making the decisions. Biden was incoherent months. Okay, so this is related to the Biden saga. The next step in this Biden saga is just today, Representative James Comer says that he's identified the potential staffers who were in charge of the auto pen, which signed his hundreds of executive orders and his thousands of pardons, 4,000 pardons or something, signed in 2 days.
Comer tweeted this out or posted this on the 16th, it looks like, about the auto pen on Fox. Is that the clip you're looking at?
I'm just reading the news as it rolls by, and it's 2 hours ago. It says, this Representative James Comer says potential staffers who've operated in Biden's auto pen have been identified. Everyone is being brought in for interviews, subpoenas, and depositions. We want to find out who is making the decisions in the White House. So, of course, it's funny. After we finished the cancer bit with Biden here, of course, they're not just finding out he has cancer on Friday. If it's prostate cancer that's already moved to his bones, you would have noticed it long ago.
Yeah.
Chris SHILLZILLA actually is really pounding it on his timeline about how he talked to a urologist. He has a video interview with a urologist. And part of the key takeaways from his talk with the urologist was, yes, they would have, if it is where it is, they say it is now, they would have detected it long before 2024, he says. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the saga continues. The cancer bit is, I don't want to be dark or drab or something, but it's probably doesn't matter if Biden gets caught and all his
at this point,
and he's a
it's kind of
delirious old man with stage something cancer. There's nothing's going to happen to him, but it's more about the system, as we always knew. Biden wasn't in control of anything. It was more representative of a sort of corrupt, controlling, deceptive system. And so we'll see how that goes.
Do you think Obama is going to get outed for any of this?
That would be like the hammer, the hammer striking the anvil. It seems like that couldn't happen still, but day by day, stuff keeps happening. So it's quite possible that
I can
something
see it happening.
I don't know, man.
Because everyone's going to pull up that clip where he said he wanted to be in a pajamas in a basement.
They're doing it already, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, there you go. So it's, I don't see it being too much of a stretch for him to go down. And
well, it would be connected. The way it would happen would be, it would be somehow connected to the Epstein Clinton thing that Trump has been hammering on recently.
Right.
And then it would be sort of triangulated with the auto pen scandal. You bring all these staffers in who are the ones operating the auto pen, and somebody will blab or say something.
Well, yeah, just get Dan Bongino in there to start yelling at him, and
again, maybe that's the truth. Maybe that has something to do with the Epstein killed himself. He killed himself.
Yeah, maybe
that's what it did.
Maybe it's an ultimatum. Maybe, hey, you be the guy to get this done, or you got to say this on air.
or it's some sort of threat or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some deals being made. I mean, that's kind of what it seems like, is some sort of deal. Because if you come out and you want to convince everybody of something, you don't say it like a freaky weirdo,
right?
That's what they sound like. They have a gun to their heads, is what it sounds like. You can say any words can leave your mouth, but if you say it weird, that's you telling everybody
your body language.
I gotta say this.
It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
Right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You get a video from a kidnapped person saying that everything's great and they're having a good time. It's not about what they say; it's about how they say it.
Right.
All right. Well, goodness gracious, we'll have a great show on Wednesday. I bet you things moving at this pace. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with us, and a big old thank you to all of our producers coming in with their time, their talent, or their treasure.
We got to thank some producers for their talent real quick before we get out of here.
Okay, let's thank some producers for their talent.
So we're going to start off with Jolmes. Jolmes came in with the piece last week. He says, 2 hours to find the song at the mention of Macron on Monday. Worth it? P.S. Everything but the vocals are not the original. DMCA should be fine. Let's find out. This is Cacron. How do I say this? Cacaron Macron?
Oh, yeah! Macaron!
Oh, yeah.
Macaron Macron. I
Okay,
see.
so it's our
That's
little
fun.
Macron jingle. I like
That's
it.
great.
I like this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
this is good.
beautiful. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a bunch of stuff with Macron soon.
All right, let me make sure I have the Macron jingle.
Keep that one at the ready, Guns. Thank you very much, Jones.
Yep. Thank you, Jones. We also had Sir Thornstein come in with a couple pieces of art. Sir Thornstein said, "Shalom, Canary Bros. Hey, I was listening to the Thursday Clubhouse Day show, and we had us a little intermission where the Fire instrumental track Walking the Ducks was played. Yes, whatever happened there, Basil, you were out for like 10 minutes or something, and I think the song only played once. It did not loop. It dawned on me, has there been a visual representation of this amazing pairing of three canary walking some ducks? So I hopped on to ChatGPT and got these, smiley face. Keep up the great work. Sorry I used AI. My drawing skills wouldn't do this concept any justice. Well, it's okay. I think we're getting to that.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. This first one, we've got a big buff canary cry swole holding about 7 leashes, and yes, on the end of each 7th leash, wait, what? On the end of each leash are 7 ducks, 7 beautiful ducks. We are walking the ducks, folks. Where are we walking the ducks? I don't know. Are the ducks walking us? These are the kinds of questions that we are always trying to answer. And next here we've got a
You're playing this?
This is Walking the Ducks, Guns. It's actually called Feeding the Ducks, but I keep calling it Walking the Ducks or Walking the Ducks.
Okay.
Now we've got some sort of hipster canary. This is great, looking good. Long pants, brown shoes, long sleeve shirt. Walking 4 ducks, beautiful, majestic ducks. Never underestimate the ducks, folks. This is Thorstein, the master and commander of Walking the Ducks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was there 2?
That's 2, yes.
2. Thank you very much. Here, I'll end feeding the ducks. There you go.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
All right. We also got something from Sir Ike. Sir Ike came in and says, while watching an old episode of Looney Tunes with my little one, I caught this wonderful quote from Daffy Duck and 666. I thought you would enjoy. Okay, let's see.
Get rid of the elephant. Why, certainly. It'll cost you $666.
Wow.
Ooh. Get rid of the elephant. I wonder what's in the world.
The elephant in the room? Is that what? To get rid of the elephant in the
6,
room, you got to pay 6.
yeah.
Okay.
Daffy
Wow.
Duck, what are you up to?
He's Mark of the Beast. Is a
Well,
duck.
that might be fun to keep around for a 666 jingle.
That's true. You're right. Let me add it to the 666 folder. Yeah, there's a folder. Yeah,
You don't keep all your files in a big pile.
I mean, it isn't a big pile. It is a file pile, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Somebody's got to write an operating system that doesn't have folders. They're just called piles.
Piles.
It's very ADHD friendly.
It is. The Mac structure is kind of like that. The folder structure is not like hard like that Microsoft. Anyway, one more thing we have here from a producer. I believe there's something from Nomen Prunte. Oh, it's not going to play. Come on, Nomen Prunte. What you got? What you got for us?
Nomen Prunte here.
There we go.
This one is war. The king of Egypt to the midwife said, "Make sure every Israelite boy is dead." But midwife had a conscience in her head. So they multiplied, and this stirred his bile. Every Hebrew son belongs in the Nile. Egypt follows the order, rank and file. Hebrew woman for 3 months hides her son. In the reeds, sister knows what must be done. And Pharaoh's daughter, children she has none. Hearing his cries, she takes pity on him, shedding a light on a future once dim. A nurse appears, as if upon a whim. One life drawn out of the waters there. In Pharaoh's own house, he grows up in air.
There you go. Thank you very much, Nomen Prunte.
Beautiful. Yeah, really well done. And is that it for our talented
That's
producers?
it. Yep. Go
Okay,
to
thank you very
canarycry.art.
much.
Lag.
Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How bad
don't
is this
know.
lag?
I was going to let you finish your canarycry.art.
Oh, okay. Go to canarycry.art, help us build the culture behind the community, and submit your art, and we'll feature it right here on the show. Oh, I might have one more. Hold on. I had it here somewhere.
It's a physical art. He's standing up.
It
He's
is
walking
physical
away.
art. It is physical
Well, that's
art.
very nice.
Yes, this was done by. Oh, I guess it's backwards. Is it backwards? It's showing
Yeah,
backwards.
it's mirrored, but that's okay. It's good.
Okay. Why is
No,
it?
it says
mirrored?
I
Oh,
love.
guess it's the thing.
I love birdies. I love birds.
Yes.
Who made this?
This was my daughter, Kaya.
Oh my gosh.
The samurai baby is an artist.
A little bit of nepotism art. It's beautiful. Good job, little samurai baby.
Yeah, there you go. Had to do
Nice.
that.
Thank you for sharing.
Keeping them
And thank
occupied.
you all for being here and tuning in and producing in all the wonderful ways that you do. And of course, give a big old thank you to the timestampers.
Yep.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
We are urgently trying to work into the system here, getting these timestamps onto the live stream as soon as humanly possible, because places like I think X does and YouTube, they finally have these timestamps that just link right into the episode. So I think that'll help people retain their attention on the show. Who helped us out with the timestamps today?
Jade Bouncerson coming in with the
Thank you
help.
very
Thank you
much, Jade Bouncerson.
Jade. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much to Jam, who is heading up the Telegram channel. Thank you to Adam42, who heads up the Discord channel. If you want to join the Discord or the Telegram community, go to canarycry.party. You'll see links to both of those there. Thank you to Joe for the feedback. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And thank you, dear listener, for keeping this show the biggest secret in the world. Don't tell anybody about it. They're not ready. They can't handle it. This is just a very special show for a very special select people. And if somehow you stumbled across this show and found it, then you were meant to be here. If you found this show by somebody telling you about it, you can be here too, okay? But we got to keep it small. It's a small clubhouse. We only get so many downloads, per month. YouTube really doesn't like it.
There are only so many seats. There are only so many seats on a private jet.
Seats on the bus. That's right. This is the private jet version of news analysis and deconstruction, but through a biblical lens. So keep it secret, keep it safe. And other than that, we do call it Rattling Cages. That is sharing the show. It's called Rattling Cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
Let's see. We'll see you all on Wednesday, National Rapture Party Day. You think the Rapture's coming on Wednesday, Basil?
I wonder why that's on this calendar. I'd be curious.
I don't know.
Maybe it's in 1988?
There's no year.
There's no year. Okay.
It says we shall not know the year, but the date we shall know. May 21st.
21st, apparently. Okay. All right, everybody.
Canary Cry calendar.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage. Why don't you?
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
I love the Great Reset.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Let's invite some dudes over and fellowship tonight.
Remember, go. Bye.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
I cry to the Lord with my voice, and to the Lord did I make my supplication. My spirit was refuge failed me. No one cared for my soul. I cried unto thee, oh Lord. I said,
Done.
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man. Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
Convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from? Or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel, shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay, we're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
We only exist because of producers just like you who get value from the show and they put value back in with their time, their talent, or their treasure. There's lots of ways to do it, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you, their talent or their treasure.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary.